I got bored of waiting. Guess we can start with some work on some class work. Figure out what we want to do class-wise. Gotta remember what the hell the Solasta classes were, though. Alright. Don't know why this didn't auto-update. Alright. Cleric, Fighter, Paladin, Wizard, Rogue, Ranger. Okay. Oh shit. Allow you guys to vote for 4 options. Why is it immediately killing my poll? Use. Nice. Let's see a poll. Blocked, but error, I'm not connected. Oh, it doesn't like the download lag. There we go. Is it fully blocked? There we go.
You have returned.
Hype 9 minutes till something maybe games maybe cure for COVID. You wouldn't download a car, right?
A car. Might download a car. I could. I mean, I do a fair amount of driving for traveling. I don't do a lot of driving for fun. I really like the idea of a self-driving car one day. How close we are to that, really. I mean, we're kind of there with the Teslas, but the legislature's way behind, and the amount of stuff you're supposed to do with that is too far behind, too. Point being, I don't have a lot of use for cars, but I would like one. +1 viewer reporting. Thank you very much, Dehydrogenasa. We couldn't do it without you, sir. Driving the cars is fun. Not for me. It really isn't. Especially when you're driving 20 hours on highway. There's nothing fun about 20 hours of highway driving. There's nothing interesting about it. It's repetitive. It's dull. It is not challenging, but you can't ignore it. You know, it's the worst of all worlds. It's like a low-level menial task. Right? Drives me nuts. Repetitive. Just a pain in my fucking ass. You have to deal with stupid people all the time. You're constantly worried about the people around you. Even if you're doing a good job, it's unlikely that you are entirely safe from doing that because you got to deal with the idiots around you. Get a flying skateboard. Doesn't sound very great for long-term flight either, or long-term travel either. All right, we are downloading. Why are we downloading? Because I don't have like enough prep time with these new I thought I had this updated already. I literally went to double click it this morning to like start the game up just to make sure I got the scene right before I started going live. This was like 45 minutes. I was gonna go live early this morning. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. And then it's like downloading. I'm like, what do you mean downloading? What are we fucking downloading? But apparently it was like you have to re-download the whole game every time they patch it apparently, and I didn't do this. I thought I did it, but I didn't. Here we are. Watching a download screen together. Quality entertainment. Filthy robot channel. Best channel confirmed. Yeah. How's everyone doing this morning? You guys are looking forward to the Solasta update? I am. German highways where you can drive as fast as you can. I've never driven like that. Sounds
Quitters never
interesting.
win.
Master Maticus, thank you for the resub. And did I miss resub earlier? I was talking about Bladed Tycon's message. I may not have mentioned the resub portion, but this looks very cool. It is very cool. We played it on stream already. I'm a little worried about burning out on it, but I've been really wanting to revisit it. I had a lot of fun with it, and I want to play. Solasta was better than BG3. Yeah, I know I rated it higher than BG3 in the 2020 best of. So why would I fight you? I agree with you. We're on the same side. Now, it may not end up better. Like, I think I was reading somewhere they're only planning on leveling you to 10. 10 is not very far in character builds in D&D. I mean, granted, a lot of games end before 10, but still. Also worried about the difficulty. They have said they're going to add difficulty levels later, but there are not existing difficulty levels in this version. It's a bit painful, but we'll see. All right. All right. Betting stream? I know, Nobu. We're like counting sheep together. Yeah, I need a D&D fix too. Blade Tycon. I'm like, I was at my in-laws the last couple days, and spent a fair amount of time on the couch with the laptop looking up upcoming MMOs and RPG games because I'm feeling that fix. I'm feeling that lack of a leveling fix right now. Well, you know what they say, Nobu. First you don't succeed. You'll get a line that sticks. Don't worry. I believe in you. Dude, follows off the download stream. Nice, nice. This is the content that no one else provides on the internet. I can never get the right amount of D&D. Like, I burnt out a little bit on our last D&D campaign, but I think I burnt out more on the organizational side than I did on the player side. Just a really tough time finding a good fit of DMs with players. Any plans on new D&D campaign? It's on my to-do list for this year, is to put one of those together again. I don't know where to go with that, though. Do I just want to try to recreate what we had in the sense? So do I just grab Jorbs, Kevin, and Dolphin and Arbius and then try to find a DM? The problem is DMing is a lot of work, and finding a good DM fits well with the group. So it's separate, right? First good, second fits well with the group, third has overlap with us. A fucking tall order. It's a big ask. Enjoy Gloomhaven when I checked it out. Medium. We did it as sponsored content. I think it could be fun. But I think you really want to play that with your friends, essentially. Lead singer. You liked Jorbs' characters. Jorbs is doing pretty well right now. I don't know if he's got time for D&D stuff. I don't know. The other thing it was for, like, I have 2 days off, right? And the last recording session for D&D was essentially offline, so during my days off, and it was like 12 to 4, and it ended up being like it ate my entire Tuesday, right? I just wouldn't get anything done. I get a little bit of work done in the morning before it, and then like we'd do D&D and I'd never get anything done after. So I think if we did it again, I'd probably want to live stream it during my stream hours, which complicates it again, because then it's more than just trying to put everyone's schedule together. It's also trying to get schedules together during stream hours. It's just we'll see. So I could do that. I mean, that's one possible alternative, is to look down that route. I really love playing with those players. I had a blast. I miss our weekly interactions with Jorbs and Dolphin and Kevin, etc. Right? Like it's just something. And I really like. I would like to build some collaborative stuff again this year. So collabing with Arbius would be a lot of fun. It would kind of be fun to re-add that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, we're certainly getting the biased stuff from chat right now, right? Those of you who are interested in D&D stuff are probably showing up for Solasta content, so therefore there's going to be a positive response for talking about a potentially streamed D&D game. But it's never been very good content from a content perspective for my channel, right? Like low view count, low interest kind of stuff. I'm thinking about it. Tried reaching out to a professional DM. Well, it's certainly possible.
Returned.
Nice, Colonel Stransky.
100,376,000 seconds of sub, roughly.
Oh, welcome back, Colonel Stransky. Thanks for the 42 months. How are we doing on this poll, chat? How do I think it compares to Baldur's Gate 3? Its current state is better. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it will be after they finish the game, so. Yeah, I want a DM. The other thing is, like, I seem to want something that a lot of gamers don't care about in their D&D games, which is I want a very challenging experience. Like, I'm happy to die. I wish we died more often in our campaign. It's one of the things that I think Adam didn't do as well as he could have, which was he let us get away with really stupid shit, which is fun, and I certainly love the comedy that came out of that, but there also should be repercussions to your actions, right? You're 2 years behind stuff on writing stuff. You'd volunteer? That would be amazing. Be amazing, Nobu. All right, are we good? I think we're ready to launch. That says ready to launch, right? Fuck yeah, let's go play the game. All right, so let's remove that. Get the right scene too. All right. Dying, do you quit the campaign? No. What do you do in 2023? I'll tell you what. Why don't you reach out to me, Nobu, when you have time to write me a D&D campaign? How's that? All right. Let's see. Maybe I'll ask Jorbs about it again. I haven't brought it up because it's just like, it's one of these things that it's really easy to bring up. You like bring up to a bunch of people. You're like, hey, Jorbs, Arvius, you guys want to play D&D? Yeah, sure. And then that's like the end of it. Like I burnt out on organizing it last time, quite honestly. Like, and then I passed over the organization to somebody else, and then we just stopped getting shit organized. I don't know. We were moving on to GURPS. GURPS was kind of fun. We got a bit bored with the D&D system. All right, we want a new adventure. What have you guys decided for me? Wait, Fighter and Paladin. Oh, guys, you didn't tell me my vote was all fucked up. The Fighter and Paladin, I accidentally didn't separate with the semicolon, separated with a colon, so it didn't separate. Feels bad. So you guys just don't want clerics, even though clerics are OP in this game. You don't want clerics or rangers. We haven't played a ranger, though. All right, so this is the problem with democracy. All right. I have to multi-class Fighter Paladin. I don't think multi-class is in the game yet. You like a viewer host as a DM and rotate it every time? No. No, I don't. I don't want volunteers. Well, I mean, I'd be okay with the volunteer committed to it, but I don't think you're going to get a lot of commitment out of a single rotating DM slot. It's just really, really difficult. There's a lot of prep work in DMing. You know, I think the couple I prepped were something like 2 to 3 times the prep time for the play time, which means that like if I'm going to do a 4-hour game, that means I'm putting in a minimum of 8 hours prep. Now, this was a bit overkill because you're creating from zero when you're creating one-offs, or pretty damn near from zero. So presumably an ongoing campaign isn't 8 hours prep every single time. But I bet you it's a lot still. All right, we're deleting everything. We can't have these things. All right, how do I delete? There must be a delete. New character select. I don't want to select. I want to delete it. Characters. You sure you want to lead the setup? I am. So there's definitely interface issues in this game, right? Like it's not super super easy to what? Like why doesn't it put me back in the character selection after deleting that? Like there's just little things like that. It's a lower budget game, right? But the gameplay has been excellent. My D&D fix has been great from these. Oh. Are these actually deleting? I feel like they're not going downhill. Wrote an edgy campaign. No comment. Can I delete these? Are we actually deleting these, chat? Do I just have like a bunch of characters created? Like, I feel like I'm not actually. Okay. I have no idea. Can I not? Like, why can't I multi-select characters to delete? All right. So they have 6 pre-gens because there's 6 character classes. Person. Great. Great. Okay. Now we can build some new characters. All right. I deleted your poll, chat, because your poll was bad. What do we actually want to see class-wise? So the classes available to us are the Cleric, the Ranger, the Fighter, the Paladin. I think content now brings us, I don't even know. We were capped at 5 previously. I think we're a little bit past 5 now. We can get up to 6 or 7. I'm not exactly sure how much content they added. I believe it's 1 to 2 more areas. Thank you, Nobu. Even like a character. You'd like a hat. Alright, so we need to give her a bald character who is racially or class restricted from hats. Sounds like a wizard to me. Gandalf the Hatless or something. What could we call her? Yeah. Alright. Alright, what are our backgrounds? So these have not changed, right? They did redo the light system. Wait, you thought you donated for preferences? Oh no. Oh no. No. All right, so okay, let's read through the dude. I've been so looking forward to today. I've been enjoying the hell out of Retropolis, but like each day it was like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want to play the Solasta update. Do I have no friends on a slow internet? Oh, damn. Fucking burns coming out here. What if you just crushed my self-esteem? No, but what if I never recover? What if I quit streaming because of the toxic chat that you are contributing to? Looks interesting. I hope you like character creation, because I really like character creation. All right, so what do we have for halflings? We got, okay, Lucky was like the greatest thing, sliced bread. So, eat a lot of bread. But, then you think I am contributing negatively to your work life? That is a great way of passing off ownership of your actions. It's like how donuts contribute negatively to my donuts are forcing me to eat them, contributing negatively to my COVID diet. That's what you're saying? Delicious donuts are the cause of the root of evil. You can see that. Are the root of evil. Oh, Jerry. All right. So, walking distance was kind of important in this game. And, okay, so halflings are low move at 5. And what are the 2 variants of this? We have Island, which is a charisma base. All right, we have no Warlock, right? Fuck, Warlock. So our only charisma class is the Paladin. But to be fair, they have not done a particularly good job yet of implementing... Actually, didn't the last patch... Maybe we should read the last patch together. You guys want to read the last patch notes together? We maybe need to do that. Because I kind of want to play around with the new features, because I don't want to burn out in this game, and I want to see what they've added to it. One of the complaints we had the last time was that the... go to the Steam page of the store, was that the non-combat interactions, the talking interactions, didn't do a lot. So we invested pretty heavily in a Paladin last time, or rather made sure to build a charisma class. It was not very relevant to anything last time. Now, I can't remember that. Let's do patch notes. Was patch notes on stream? I'd like to see this as a browser page, not in... I wonder if they must be on the web for that somewhere. Let's pull that up. We're going to do that together, chat. Take it easy. Nice chill Wednesday. All right. Months ago. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, patched down 6 days ago. All right. Okay, Chrome. Target it. Do I not have a... There. Got laid off? Ooh. Sorry to hear that, man. Double-edged sword. More time to watch my streams, I gotta say. All right, so let's take a look. They updated. Here's the talk about the download size, the way they've done their update system. You have to re-download the game every single time. Sure, I thought I'd already done that though. Found Sparkle, teleport spells, movement grid, secret weapon, items. I thought there was an update about the non-combat stuff. May not be relevant, honestly. They haven't. Maybe it was in their reactions to people's comments. But I noticed there was like 5 or 6 enemies listed in here that we haven't fought yet. Yeah, I don't actually see it. All right, we may not bother with the Paladin. The Paladin was great, but we may not bother with it. It's the only charisma class in the game that we have available, really. It's only the only charisma class in the game. We might not care. You don't see us scrolling through it? Okay, well, I scrolled through it. Nothing in there. All right. What do we want to play with? What are the cool things that these classes, these races do? Luck is the greatest thing since ever. So Lucky's really cool. Reroll all of our shit stuff. Humans, I think, are an entire scam. They look like the most boring class. They have 6 move, though. Who else is 6 move? Everybody. I think one of the elf classes is 7 move. Yeah, Sylvans are fast. That's 7 move. And they're wisdom base. Yeah. Okay. And we wanted to try one of the dwarven things, right? So what were these? These were +2 con saving throws on the snow dwarf, which is kind of interesting. Too bad there's no int there. That makes a spellcaster. I guess it could be a cleric, but it's also dex, right? So it's con dex, which isn't amazing. Whereas the hill dwarf is wisdom con. So some sort of dex class that buffs itself. God, I always forget this. Is a saving throw considered a con saving? Is a concentration check considered a con saving throw? I don't think it is. I think a constitution saving throw is independent of a concentration check. They are? Okay, if they are, they are. I do forget that every single time. Oh, chat disagrees. BE and Finn coming in with different rules. I believe the only solution is a fight to the death. Keep it civil. Civil, not civil. But you're welcome to use pointy sticks. Yeah. All right, what class do we want to build first, chat? I guess we can do it this way. Rather than have you vote on all 4 classes at once, let's start this way. Which class must we play? Let you guys vote on that. All right. So we have, again, Rogue, Ranger, Paladin, Wizard, Cleric, Fighter. Separated them with the appropriate punctuation. You guys want? Constitution saving throw. Looks like it is. I mean, you could have just written that, I suppose. I assumed you were quoting from something. You guys miss me? All right. You guys saying here? Come on, Wizards. You guys want to see the Ranger? Okay, so Ranger was the least voted for in the first poll, and now the most voted for in the second poll. Well done, well done. We haven't played the Ranger, so that is fair. It would be kind of nice to check the Ranger out. Did we play the Ranger? We played the Ranger before we restarted, right? And the Ranger was just like generating like insane amounts of food and doing nothing else. It was like a bad rogue in terms of damage, if I remember correctly. We built them both as ranged, and the rogue just outperformed the Ranger, which is pretty standard. Game sucks, there's no warlocks. Hey, I don't disagree. Nobody wants a Ranger. We could build some, rather than min-max all of our characters, which I always wish to do, we could build some subpar Ranger things for like fun mechanics. Like Rangers with extra constitution checks are okay. We could build a melee Ranger, like a dual wield melee Ranger. I don't think we built any dual wield classes last time. I don't even know if they have dual wield in here yet, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure they have some variation of that. Melee Rangers always seem like the, everyone likes to build these dual wield melee Rangers in games, at least in my experience, and they're always bad. Is it possible to solo? I think you need to build a team of 4, but I don't know. Remember, this is early access or pre-release or beta or some fucking combination of things that say none of our things can be judged except positively. Just remember that. Dual wield melee Ranger seems awful. Perfect. I could try to make them viable. Well, that's the thing. So we might want to artificially boost our difficulty here because there's no difficulty settings in the game yet. And I found that we were, by playing the content, we outscaled the difficulty pretty hard last time. I think they've been popular because of fiction. I think people love the idea of wielding 2 weapons. What's cooler than 1 weapon? When the guy busts out a 2nd weapon. How do you make a Sith Lord more scary? You give him a weapon out the other end. You know, it's typical, you know, showboating, essentially. All right, you guys want a Ranger, apparently. 41% of you voting say Ranger. All right, we'll build our Ranger first. First is Ranger. All right, so what are the Rangers stuff in here? So chat, if you don't like character creation, I'm sorry, you maybe want to come back in hours, 3 hours, something like that. But I really enjoy character creation, so we're gonna be doing that. Halfling Ranger. Yeah, let's build a melee guy and then give him reduced movement speed and see how fun that is. All right, so snow dwarves are the, I mean, constitution saving throws on a melee Ranger is actually pretty valuable, right? Since they're going to be doing things like casting whatever it is, Hunter's Mark, and then trying to maintain that. Well, let's just take a quick look around for anything that really sticks out for that. +2 movement really sticks out for me. Dual wield is light. Dual wield rules are what now? They have to be light weapons. Do they also have to be finesse, or they just have to be light? Aren't most light weapons finesse weapons, but is that always the case? I can't remember. Pick Snow Dwarf Ranger. What do we get here? Also, they fixed the light interface, so dark vision now does what dark vision is supposed to do, which is give you sight in fucking dark areas, which was a huge scam previously. Let's go take a look at the Ranger. So I still hate their character creation system. Unfortunately, not hate, but what they've done is they've done it in the order that the D&D book makes you do it in, which is you choose your race first. The stupid part about that is choosing your race is always about maximizing the stats for the class that you're playing. Character creation should always be class first. It makes no sense to do race first. But this game locks you in that as well. So we're going to pick a random race and move through and look at what the actual Ranger in this game does. All right, so what do we get at higher levels of rangering? I don't know what the game plays up till now, so it's tough to get a perfect idea of what we're doing this. We get extra attack at 5, feat at 4. I mean, a lot of these I have memorized, but I do not have Ranger memorized because I've never been tempted to play a Ranger. The fighting style at 2, Ranger spellcasting, primeval awareness. Okay. I mean, we do have a little bit of an advantage. The other thing about Rangers is it's gambling, right? Because you have to gamble on what enemy types you're going to explore, you're going to encounter. But in this game, since we know what we're playing, we can not gamble. We actually get full value out of favorite enemy and natural explorer. Selecting your race first makes sense if you care more about role playing. Why? Imagine this, Sander, right? Think about your sequencing here. It doesn't matter for role playing if you select race before or after class, right? You're building a story about that combination. You can't really build any of your RP together until you've got the character created, right? So why then? In what way is it advantageous ever to build race then class as opposed to class then race. I don't see a detriment to the RP element building class then race, but I do see a detriment to the class building or the character building for building race then class. So think about the sequencing. That's a filthy robot quote if I've ever heard one. All right. So what are we looking at here? We got favorite enemy, natural explorer. So what does this do? Gain advantage on ability checks towards this creature type. Ability checks. Fuck, I always hate the language about this. So what is an ability check towards a creature type? So information about them. So that's a wisdom stuff, right? This game gives us creature characteristics based on numbers of encounters and passing ability checks. What other ability checks are there? Is a Constitution saving throw an ability check? No. Saving throws are not ability checks. Survival checks and nature checks. What did you guys say? Saving throws are not ability checks. Okay. What about hit rolls on spells? For example, like a lot of spells are like, you know, like if you're casting some like hold person or something, right? It's an offensive spell that requires a saving throw for them. I guess that's a saving throw on them. It has nothing to do with our stuff here. How about surviving being pushed? Now that's a saving throw too. How about pushing the enemy? If we want to prone enemies, isn't that an ability check? Isn't that it's probably a stat check? Athletic checks. Okay. So we could get some advantage to shoving people down and then stabbing them with all of our swords. I don't think grappling's in this. Okay. All right, this is character, so this character class. All right, we have ranger archetypes. They're giving us 3 here. Hunter. One of the following hunter. How do these scale up too, right? But we don't know what. Oh, dude, this was this awkward thing, right? So I think. Hold on. I think we just say this, right? Whatever. Probably go past this. So there was a way to see how these play out over as you level up, right? But is it at the end? Do I have to like artificially level the class to do that? Because I want to see what the bonuses are from these subtypes. So if we go to our ranger here, inspect them in whatever this fucking ranger is, and then does it level up? And then do it higher level. But higher levels is nothing to do with the subtype. This is the class. But that's the class, not the subclass, right? So where do I see the subclass level ups? That's what I'm saying. It's like awkward as fuck. We can get archery, defense, dueling. When you're wielding a melee weapon in one hand. Okay, that's not the one. And two-handed fighting. This is the one. You can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. That's the dual wield stuff. And then I don't care about your spells. Very awkward. Thank you. I want to see. There it is. There's the archetype. I think it's like once you do this, you can see higher level options, right? No. Don't know good. Select the ranger archetype. Yeah. But where do I do it? Yes. Can I please see this? Please, will you show me the rest of it? Do I have to do this 20 times? I mean, according to this, there's no other extra subsets of that. Maybe it doesn't. I need to look at one of the ones that we know gives you multiple features or not. Baldur's Gate did it better. It may give you more information better for this for sure. I don't know. Right. Either way. So I have no idea what the higher levels of ranger shit does, right? Of ranger shitting. Upgraded ranger shit is tough to predict, I guess. Use a fighting style. Gain spells from the list. Detect the presence of primeval ranger archetype. Select a ranger archetype that guide you in your travels. Sure. And there's no archetype upgrades in this, right? Okay. So what does one of the other ones, like the wizard, for example, give us a at higher levels of wizard? No. I know they do it, right? Chat, am I imagining this? Those of you who have played this, remind me. Do these subtypes give multiple? They give multiple perks across time, right? It's not just the one. Generally, they give it every couple levels. They give a subtype perk, right? Or a subclass perk. Definitely do. I don't think it caps at 5 anymore, Sui. They added more stuff. Level 6. Where are you seeing level 6? Yeah, there was an update, Sui. I believe it caps past 5 now. But part of why we're replaying it, right? Multiple options and pass. Right, exactly. That's what I thought. Anyways, okay. Well, maybe we can't see that right now. If someone remembers how to do that, I'd appreciate it. But I don't remember how to do that. I thought it was maybe... I thought I had to go through the leveling. Okay, we could try bringing the ranger to 6 and see if it does anything. All right, so if I go level up. Wisest of rangers. Okay. Funky way to do this. It drops me out of that menu every time I level up. Just crazy. But it only lets me go to 6 here. Next archetype is at 7. Okay, so we're only choosing 1 then. Ah, that's good. Fine with that. Just wanted to make sure that we weren't making a bunch of decisions for later that we were going to get, not screwed on, but like not get to take advantage of our synergies, right? All right, so what do we actually have here then? We're looking at the ranger level up at 3. I want to see the ranger archetype. Where do I see that from on the creation screen? I have to go back, right? I have to do it over here. Can I unlevel this guy? He's level 6 forever. As I said, it's fucking clunky as shit to like try to build through that in this menu. Guess we have to create a new one, then level it up. Very, very awkward. Air of Sin. I think we played it on stream and found it to be really fucking bad, if I remember correctly. That's the new release where you play a criminal empire, right? Which is, it was like a game that needed about, I don't know, another year of development. What was the problem here? I need to choose flags, right? Why can't I move past here, chat? You choose personality. Oh, I choose 2. Thanks. We could roll our characters too, chat, if we want to have some fun with it. Like, rather than min-max. It just is always frustrating. They're always worse than min-maxing off a fucking point buy. I mean, sometimes you can get stupid rolls, but like, if you get like average rolls, they're just worse, right? Because there's a bunch of odd hanging numbers. Although I guess that could make for some interesting characters. Can I just please? 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 Alright, so I want to level them to 3 to see what happens, right? Better Paladin Ranger there. Okay, so we want to level them 2. 2 is the fighting style. We have for the Ranger. We have fighting style. We can get range, which is really good. But we're going to try a dual wield shit melee one, right? Yeah. And we get two-handed, two-weapon fighting, dueling, defense, and archery. We're building a tank ranger, apparently. Not even a tank ranger. He must jump. It's pretty clear he must jump. Right, and then one more level up there. Funkiest interface ever. Thanks. Okay. So this is the decision at 3 we're going to have. The subtypes. Huh? Show me, please. Alright, we get Hunter, which gives us 1 of 3 abilities. These were good when we played them last, right? multi-attacks essentially. You kill a creature, you can get another attack with the same weapon. That's going to be a lot worse than melee. When a large or larger creature within 1 cell of you hits or misses with an attack, you can use your reaction to attack that creature immediately after its attack. Limited on reactions. If we go like a little boy, like a halfling or something, or we can probably get some advantage out of with a larger creature. Hits or misses with you with an attack, okay? Then Colossus Sweat Slayer is when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the creature takes an extra d8 if it's below its hit point maximum. Okay. So if we don't go first, Colossus Slayer can do something too. All right. I think that's the one we did last time because it seemed very good. Marksman is a visible opponent 2 cells or more from you attacks you with the ranged weapon or attack. You can use your reaction to take a shot after the triggering attack. Not going to be very good on a melee. And what's Shadow Tamer? When in dim light or darkness, you gain advantage on dex saving throws. Dex saving throws are getting knocked down sometimes, like dodging fireballs. Anything else for dex saving throw that we're going to be using? Like, what else do we dex saving throw? Maybe some like really shit like cantrips. When attacking a creature with sensitivity or hypersensitivity to light with a weapon, add your proficiency bonus to hit and damage. Okay. Traps. Traps are a good point. Are traps a dex save? Disarming them are. How about seeing them as a perception though, right? So it's not going to help us see them, it's going to help us disarm them. Not super excited by that bonus. Jesus Christ. All right. The question in chat is, what is this game? Is it single player D&D? Let's check the title of the stream. And then let's check the name of the game. Only there was some way to find this out. If only. All right. So not a whole lot of synergy there. We could do this Dark Ranger guy if we could figure it out. I don't want to play the one we played before. What else could we get from the characters from this? Looking at race, right? So what races would be fun for this? We get a bunch of concentration. I think the Hill Dwarf looks kind of fun, right? We could try a crossbow Hill Dwarf, maybe. Heavy crossbow Hill Dwarf, dex-based ranger. But if we use a crossbow, we don't want melee, which is going to screw some things up, but maybe. So both the Hill Dwarves have dark vision, which is nice. And then, to be fair, he did ask chat. Maybe it's too much of a call out, but it just seems like that's like the most easily accessible information ever for a streamer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Panda, that's what I'm talking about. The Hill Dwarf save on con throws is okay over here. What's the other one give us? Like extra HP? HP per level is okay too. The half elf is giving us... This was actually good in this playthrough, but I don't really want to do a bunch of half elves. Maybe we do stat block. Maybe we roll for stats. But the problem is, what you'd want to do with that is you'd want to roll your dice and then be like, okay, how do I fix these terrible dice throws? What race would do that? But in this game, you roll the dice after you pulled the race, which makes no sense whatsoever, right? Oh yeah, there's feats too. I don't remember what the feats are in this game. Where do I find the feats? There was a list. You want to roll, Nobu? I'm not against it, but the problem is the interface for creating characters doesn't actually let us do that very easily, right? We'd have to pick the race, then roll, which defeats the fucking purpose. I mean, I guess we could roll, save the dice somewhere. Like I could write the dice down, then we pick a race based on those dice rolls. You guys want to do that? Set all stats to 10. Imagine having 10 as your best stat. Like how frustrating that would be. All right, I want to see the perks too. I guess we have to bring a guy to 4. One more. All right, we want a bonus feat. What bonus feats are in here right now? Cute senses. Armor Master. Creed of Aaron. Increase your con by 1, become proficient with con saving throws. Creed of Einar. Your strength by 1, become proficient with strength. Wisdom. Creed of Miasmi. I don't know his name. Dex. Int. Charisma. On an HP. Advantage on concentration. This is essentially extra scroll crafting. It says if I get downed and roll 3 times. This is such a weak feat. Carry heavy loads, increase your strength and carrying capacity. Proficiency with thieves tools, or essentially what is double proficiency is expertise, I think. Manipulator usually. Master alchemist. Potion making. Master enchanter. See, one of the things that wasn't in the game last time, or apparently was in the game, but we never found it, was the rosary. The rosary is essentially a crafting. So crafting's back in here for crafting cool weapons and shit, which might be fun. When a target succeeds on a saving throw against your cantrip, it still takes half damage. Okay. On score by 1. Twice as much HP regen off of dice rolls. Yeah, that ignores cover. It's fairly good. Yeah, we have simple weapons, martial weapons, light art. Oh, these are our existing stuff. These aren't feats though. Okay. All right, that's fine. How do I cancel this? Let's do the dice roll stuff. Chat. Let's try to make it. Let's try to get some artificial difficulty in here. All right. So the first thing we need to do then, we need new character there. New chair too. All right. So what is this? We need a dice roll, huh? Yeah. All right. What are we doing for the dice roll? So let's just place them anywhere. We get 1 set of rolls. We just roll once. How do I make this roll? Reroll dice here. Reroll 6 ability scores using 4. Reroll 6 ability scores using 4d6 and keeping the 3 best rolls. Is that the plan, chat? Dice rolls? All right, so that's a below standard. Below whatever the hell it is roll, right? What we normally play with. So 9 of course means we just lose a point for a dump stat. So boring. So I don't roll dice. Okay. What are we doing with our boring ass? Okay, so we gotta. So the first character is then 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9. Blech. All right. Take our next character. So we have 4 characters to roll. Second character is this. Even worse. Our top score is now a 14. We have 4 odd fucking stats. We just waste stats here. Yeah, is this fun? Do you guys do this in your games? This seems like absolute dog shit to me. All right. This roll here is 17, 13, 12, 11, 10. I never do this in my games. And one last roll. 16, 15, 15, 15, 12, and 9. think this is a god. It's got a lot of stats. All right, so if we played this in person, one person would have really good stats, would be overpowered, and stepping on the toes of what other people could do across the entire course of the campaign. And a bunch of people would be pretty not excited from what they're playing. Now, one guy with the 17 is interesting. All right, so you guys want me to like throw those up somewhere? Maybe I'll throw them up as like a notepad or something. Let me get you guys a notepad. All right, so our stat blocks are. There's so many odds. That second character is so bad. Probably gonna be Nobu's character. All right. Shrink this down a little bit, and maybe we can move them in. Can I move that over in a way that's useful? Not. Can I do this by color? Probably. Undo. I'm left anywhere I can. All right, 2 seconds, chat. As I get this up here because I want your input on this. Why can I not move this again? You make the notepad not wide enough. There's like nowhere you can actually take it to click on it to drag it places. There we go. All right, so capture notepad. That doesn't look very easy. Bit better. Now I just shrink the rest of it, I guess. So where's my notepad there? All right. You guys see that okay? Those are the 4 we're working with. No, we're gonna optimize. So we're not gonna force a dual wield fucking ranger when we're using when we're doing the rolls. We're gonna take these rolls and we're gonna try to make the best characters we can out of it, because that will be the fun part of this, right? So we're trying to make it a little bit more challenging by doing stats rolls as opposed to actual point buy, and we're trying to have some fun with this, right? The last one's pretty good. The second to last one's pretty good too, though. Having a 17 starting stat is better than you can get in the point buy, right? We have the ability to make a character with either a higher max primary stat, or a feat coming in at 4 to round that out. That's a half feat, like a half stat feat. That could be pretty good. Both those could be pretty good. All right, you guys can see that on the screen, right? All right, so let's look at what those turn out to be. 16. Which one do we want to do first? So we could try to mitigate the low roll impact first. You could start with a 20. I didn't even think about the fact we got racials on top of this. Good point. I was thinking total. So I guess actually that makes the second one actually makes it okay for all of them, considering I guess that means, wow, I totally missed the fact we hadn't added racial bonuses yet. Those are just the dice rolls I did, right? It's not dice rolls plus stats, right? Because I took the dice, I didn't take the stat. Yeah, okay. No, would you just tell me to do you good in chat? Christ. Let's keep this appropriate. All right. 14, 13, 12, 10, 9. Let's not make the streamer feel weird, okay? 14, 13, 13, 13, 12, 11. What are we doing with that?
You have returned.
What?
Time to draw social security.
Your number of sub months. I'm like, what is he talking about? Cheers. Thanks for the resub, Lullaway. 67 months. I made it weird? Did I? All right. So let's do the baddie first. The 14, 13, 13, 13, 12, 11. Isn't even that bad when you add racials to it. Professor Brandemonia? 7 months, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm an old streamer. Streaming for a while. You can tell by my viewer count. It just goes up and up over time. What do we want to play with this? So, all right. Let's think about this. Can I just get... No, I don't guess this is good classes. Human? That's interesting. This might be our first reason to play human, by the way. +1 to all ability scores. It would fix all those odds. Is it all odds too? Yeah, it's all odds except for the primary stat and 12. What classes benefit from being like all these different stats? I always feel like clerics benefit from everything. Con is just good for everybody. Like strength or dex are like saving throws and attack rolls with physical. It feels like cleric stats. Rogue. Yeah. I want this to be a reasonable amount of character creation, which for me is generally, you know, less than a couple days worth of stream time. Yeah, these are 5e rules. Paladin's mad. Make mad paladins. All right, chat. Let's look at that. So we're looking at these ones. Maybe I'll highlight them. What do we want to do with these? And what classes do we not want? We only get 4 of these 6 classes. Which 2 do we not want to play? Do we want to vote that way? I don't know. We want to take advantage of these. What? Rewatched all 400 Civ games during quarantine. Dedicated. Appreciate it. Oh, here's the subclass shit we were looking for. God damn it. This is what I was looking for earlier, chat. Right there. Paladins, they do seem really OP, honestly. I love paladins. They're so fucking good. Maybe we just don't use one. I feel like clerics are really good too. I think the weakest party comp I could make out of this would be rogue, wizard, ranger, fighter. Giving up all of the divine magic here. I think that gives up all of our ability to resurrect too. So if anyone ever dies, we lose, right? It's D&D 5e rules, chat. So yes, all the things that happen in D&D 5e happen in this game. 14, 13, 13, 12, 11. So rogues are almost entirely dex based. Everything they do is dex based. All their damage, all their evasion, right? Like everything is dex based on the. I mean, yeah, you can get some extra skill bonuses off these medium rolls and have some bonus out of expertise, but it doesn't seem particularly great for me. Everything is 5e. Everything is dex based in 5e. I don't disagree with that. Dex is absolutely the superior stat. What would we do with these shit rolls here? So what could we pause? So 14. Okay, so what are the racial bonuses to? All right, what are we getting? +2, +1 off the best, right? +2, +1 is all we're ever going to get. Or +1, +1. Is there anyone where the top... Actually, this is kind of interesting because I've just never done... After the first, like... It wasn't even D&D, it was pen and paper RPG. After the first Dark Heresy game I played, I never did dice rolls again because it was such a fucking scam. So, if we're getting scammed by dice rolls, what do we want to do with that? I think it's got to be a druid. There's no druid. I think it's got to be a cleric, right? Like cleric makes the most sense for all these stats floating around, right? And clerics are kind of wisdom, and clerics, I mean, they're always running concentration spells, so they get some benefit from something like that too. I mean, what if we did like... Problem is we need a +2 here, right? We can't do a dwarf because we can't get a +2 wisdom out of that. Is there any way to get +2 wisdom? I'm not sure any of these starting stats are +2 wisdom. And maybe the death of that idea. Right. So we can get +2 dex. We could get +2 wisdom off half elf. Imagine charisma on your cleric though. Can we get +1 off that? The problem is we're working with this one, chat. We're working with the 14 min roll, or the 14 max roll rather. So we're trying to figure out a way to build something out of that. Hey Zach, thanks for the resub, man. Welcome back. Human fighter for the extra. I don't think human fighter wants to do that. I don't think we want to start our primary stat at 14 +1. I just don't think it's good enough. Like the game doesn't go on. I mean, we only get to level 7 in this game or something, or level 6 in this game. So I don't think like acting like we're gonna fix it. You know, like the first feat is like it's like 4 and 6, right, for a fighter. So like 99% of this campaign, we're just not gonna have any value out of that. I think we have to make this half elf with those stats, right? So let's take a look at what that looks like. If we go half elf cleric, pick one at fucking random, sure. We'll come back to this in a minute. Again, like I hate that I'm forced to select all this shit every single time when I just want to like look at the stat block. Okay. So how do I enter this? I don't want to point by. I don't want to optimize. There must be. Oh, chat. Are we screwed here that I can't enter the dice? Oh, point by free edit. It shouldn't be. This shouldn't be. It should just be a third option up here, right? 14, 13, 13, 12, 11. So we'd be looking at here. 14. What would we dump stat? Dump stat int almost always, right? 5e. 9. Oh, it's 11. I don't even really have a dump stat. Dude, our lowest one is 11. On gonna be a 13. Dex is gonna be a 13, and strength is gonna be a 13. Like this, then. Skill checks are part of the game, Professor Brandmonium. Charisma +2. Doesn't it auto add the +2? Doesn't. I have to add +2 manually here to charisma from half elf. Alright, then we have 2 points here. Okay. We're looking at wisdom, right? One way to get +2 wisdom. Won't even let me bring +2. Why not? Oh, because it's 1/1. It's not +2 on a half elf. Is that right? Might be +1 +1. Fuck. So we still. So half elf actually doesn't get us anywhere because it doesn't give us a +1. It doesn't give us a +2 wisdom that we want. So this character is we just can't build. We can't start. We don't want to start sub 16 on a primary stat. Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right. For some reason, I remembered half elf was having 2 points anywhere I wanted it, but it looks like it's 1 and 1 as opposed to +2. All right, so we're not going to build that into a cleric. We can't because we can't get +2 wisdom, but we do have. So what are our +2s available? We have dex. It's dex or con, right? Are the only +2s we can get right now. And charisma. We just don't care about a +2 charisma. Okay. All right. So then that's an argument for a rogue, right? Try to take advantage of all the stats while still getting +2 to the primary. So the primary ends up at 16. We're looking at either elf or halfling. Try the skill monkey idea. Is it racist to call a halfling a monkey? What if they're an island halfling? Don't know. I assume yes. But are we allowed to be racist versus fictional races? It's like yes. To be racist versus fictional? I mean, I do fucking hate halflings. I just like how lucky they are. God, there's so much complicated. No, let's just move on. I don't think I'm doing myself any favors here. All right. What else do the island halflings do? Advantage on dex checks, acrobatics. I don't think is. I mean, it's kind of nice for a rogue, but it's more like nice in a campaign where you can actually do things with one acrobatics. We'd probably run Marsh Halflings. They seem nice. Do they still have they have dark vision too, right? Oh my god, they have dark vision. Pick a Marsh Halfling. See you, QB. Good night. All right, so let's say we went Marsh Halfling with those stats, and we're looking to build a rogue out of that. And we're looking to, like, I mean, we'll just randomize these for now, right? We don't care. We don't care. All right. And then this is the free edit. This is the, which we're doing the second stat block. No. Dude, dark vision is so good. They are tiny. And there are some feats that go with that. But, so we need 14, 13, 13, 13, 12, 11. Into 11. 12 to charisma. Wisdom to 13, I guess. On to 13. That's to 14, and then strength to 13. And rogue. Okay. There's no skill monkey stuff here. I guess this should be 12, and that should be 13 if we're gonna do. Actually, maybe this should be 11. That should be 12. 12 and 13 like that. There are a fair number of int-based things. All right, and what did it give us? Why am I not getting? Okay, +2. So yeah, okay, it's +2 +1. This is from those stats. Wait. It says 13, 12 +1. So I get 2 more on this, and I get 1 more there. So it looks like that. I mean, there's our primary stat, which is good. On as a secondary is okay. I mean, we could even keep this lower if we just want to do like some glass cannon archery build. We don't have to make this melee. Yeah, so many odd numbers, exactly. We're doing point buy though, or dice roll. Game is great, Crusader Bishop. So many, I know, so many odds. It means 1 wasted point, 2 wasted point, 3 wasted points right now. Feels so bad. Is there any class that can survive not having maxed out primary stat? Like, can a cleric that's like a buff cleric is never going to cast offensive spells run like secondary stat? Like run a stat that's because if we didn't have to do +2 like this, +2 +1, we could do either +1 +1 off a half elf or human and go +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Could be reasonable. Every class can survive not having 6. Okay, let's just highlight this chat comment. Literally every class can survive not having 16. How do I start with a comment like that? Imagine you're playing a campaign that's hard and you want to hit something. You can't just say every class can survive. Yeah, every class can survive starting with all 8s. It's only 5% chance to hit in a bounded accuracy game where it's not just your hit chance, it's all your primary skills, it's your fucking accuracy, and it's your hit chance, and it's your damage. Give me this bullshit. Like, yeah, sure, it's a pen and paper RPG game. You can do anything on all 8s. All your classes could have 8. It just makes everything worse. It's like, what is your comparison here? Sure, you could do it without stats. You do all 1s. But it's not an honest way of approaching that. There's some stats that are more or less impacted, some classes that are more or less impacted by having low primary ability scores, right? As we were talking about, like buff bots, for example. If your character is mostly casting buffs have no DC, so no hit roll. So you can probably get a little bit more leeway with having less in your primary stat. If your character mostly does attacking, needs hit rolls, for example, you can't really give up your primary stat like that. I mean, you technically can in the way that you've said it, but it's not actually an honest way of approaching that, is it? All right, so this is maybe our first look. And how does this feel, chat? Feels pretty bad. I hate these wasted points, and there's 3 wasted points in this build. That's the, so that's 16 dex halfling rogue. All right. Played 14, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 plus ratios and didn't have to load more than a few times. Fuck, you're missing the point, aren't you? You're missing the point. Entirely missing the point. We're not concerned about beating the game. Concerned about building characters that don't suck ass. So yes, in a game in pre-access with no difficulty levels, you can probably beat the game running shit characters. But I certainly would not be proud of building a shit character. I would be quite upset about it, in fact. See how the human looks? Yeah, the only thing I was considering doing here first is that I kind of wanted to look at, like, taking a look at the skill tree for this, right? Or rather, the skill stuff. So what can we get out of having these types of stats? We're not even good. Like 13 int is okay. I mean, it's going to be like a good secondary backup for rolling on these checks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to drag him through the mud with that. I mean, if what he was trying to say is that the difficulty of this game isn't high enough that you'll be fine with anything you go with, sure, but that's absolutely true. But we're not. That kind of misses the point of what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make the best of the stats we've been given by the dice. We're trying to figure out which classes are least negatively impacted by these dice rolls. That's the fun part of this. That's the mini game of the character creation to some degree, of at least this portion of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh with people this morning. My wife said I woke up with a lot of energy. Yeah, I don't think this is particularly exciting, right? So we get our whatever dex. This would just be like a very mediocre rogue. It's basically a rogue that starts with 2 less dex than every other rogue in the fucking every other game ever. All right, so let's look at the human cleric variant. Can you guys think? So what other buff classes that are there in this game right now? There aren't really, right? Like I mean, wizards get some decent buffs, but they get them at like 5, right? When you're running haste, and even then, all your attack rolls, everything's attack roll based, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I should be a little bit kinder to my like newer viewers or something. I don't know. So we look at the human variant here, +1 to all ability scores. We run it as a cleric. We worry about those later. What can I next? Have 4 things selected. We have things selected here. Like, okay. All right. The human's +1 to everything. So the 14 is going to be an odd, and it will be the same value of the 13. I mean, we could plan for a future feat. Humans don't see in the dark either, right? So this guy will be blind. Even though he's got very bright blue eyes. What are we looking? 14, 13, 13, 13, 12, 11. We get plus, so I just add 1 to all those scores, right? So we get an 11. Becomes a 12. We get a 13. So what stats are dump stats on a cleric? Int, right? So int becomes 12. Dex is a quasi dump stat on a cleric. So dumping int is always bad. So that would become a 13. The next one becomes the next. I get 3 14s here. Are probably like that. 14. Won't be this one. Go there in a minute. 14. Dump charisma again. 14. And this is 15. That's the cleric stats. So upside of decent strength on a cleric here is we can wear heavier armor. Although clerics are restricted in their armor choices to medium unless you take specific types of clerics. Charisma and Dex. Maybe. Yeah, but we're never gonna get amazing out of it. Right? It does feel like, I mean, there's less wasted points, right? There's only 2 wasted points as opposed to 3 with the +1s. Although our max score is less. If we ever want to hit anything, though, it really depends how many of the Cleric spells were hit rolls. There were a fair number. The problem with the buff bot is you can only have 1 concentration active at a time in 5e. I don't think there's any way around that for this race and class. Yeah, we could take our first skill like that. Doesn't govern anything. It's only for skills essentially, this game. And checks, I guess. Dude, this is a low con cleric. Could up the dex, I guess. The medium armor deal. What's strength requirements for medium armor? Is it 14 or is it lower? It's probably lower. I choose charisma over int? Because charisma has some utility where int really doesn't for a cleric. I mean, honestly, it's just a choice thing. It would be a choice thing with the rest of the team. I don't think there's any strength requirements in this game. There's definitely strength requirements in D&D 5e. I don't know if they've imported them or not. They've been pretty true to the game. What do you think, chat? Is this good enough? And a cleric stat. These clerics as your talkers. Clerics tend to have clerics aren't super mad, right? All you really care about is wisdom. You can build them as face of the party if you want. A little less great than like a warlock or a paladin, but you can. So this cleric is going to be blind. Blind as a bat. Yeah. All right, so this is going to be a cleric. So let's say that. So number 2 equals human cleric. All right, good. We'll have a chance to use human for the first time. The most boring of races. The least interesting, different starts. Nice. All right, so what we've done to a player. Imagine this were at a table. Your poor bastard, he's like, oh, I'm a new player to D&D. He rolls a dice and he gets that dice roll. He's like, nice, lots of numbers above 8. And then some guy at the table is like, I mean, you could just play it with 8. It's only 5% per. And then he kind of looks at you confused, but you just don't say anything. And then what does he get for bonuses? Common in one language of your choice. Nice. What about all these cool things? Like, look how much more text there is on these other ones. Fucking non-variant humans are so bad. All right, so that's probably no, but no, just kidding. We'll figure that out in a minute. All right, so that's our first one. So this is going to be a cleric. Cleric. Could be no, but we'll see. Oh, I'm just happy to be back this morning, chat, giving people some shit. All right, what's next then? What other stat block do we want to deal with next? The high roll with a 17. 17, 16, 13, 12, 11, 10 stat block. I can't remember what the rolling is. We've already rolled all the dice, so I don't care what the criteria are for creating the dice rolls in here. We've already rolled them. I mean, you can set any stats you want in this game. If you want to play all 20 characters, you can do that. But we're trying to make something fun out of what we've dealt with. So that is 2 fairly high. We could get an 18-18 starting character out of that with a 2-1, right? Although, and with a 2-1 like that, actually. 18-18. Maybe that's our rogue. Get a fucking sick dex roll out of that, right? So what stats do we care about? Paladins are I mean, I don't think we can get, can we get strength? Can we get strength charisma? Yeah, we could do half elf paladin there and get 18 strength, 18 charisma starting paladin. Could do, can't do strength and con, because, yes we can. We can do strength and con. We can do strength and con too. Sure, maybe one of the mods could give you permission for that. Dual wielding ranger 1818, maybe. So what type of racial bonuses are interesting here? So con is, the thing about con is HP is valuable, but like getting higher HP doesn't let you do anything particularly unique, you know? Are there like and I'm thinking like, well, what could you do really cool with that? Like you could do like a tank cleric running spiritual guardians or something. Then you'd want like you want like wisdom 18, con 18. Dude, like we could do a second cleric, chat. Instead of that gimpy human cleric, we could run a hill dwarf cleric running 18 spiritual guardians. Right, micro. Yeah, you have to wait. Wait, did you typo his name? Yep, typo the name. The Uber Cleric? It would be the Uber Cleric, but you got to think about what are you doing with this? Like that spell is insane. Like the Spiritual Guardians spell, it does AOE damage, turn-based, while making rough terrain out of. It's so good. It's such an overpowered spell. All right, so that's one option. I don't really want two clerics in the party, but we could go back and fix the other guy. You can make a sick fighter that shreds faces. Can we though? So I don't know if we can get +1 strength without going half, and half elf is charisma, right? So we can't even do that. So we have to get, remember, we only get +2, +1 based on the racials. So we can either get con dex, con wisdom, dex wisdom, dex int, dex con, dex charisma. So we actually can't do a super sweet 18 fighter. We don't have any way to get +2 to con and +1 to strength. We can't do that actually. Monk's not in this game. So we can do with this, the +2s could be charisma. So we could do, again, we could do a pretty sick half elf paladin out of this. Dex matter for wizard? Sure. Dex is AC. AC matters a little bit. It's not a big, I mean, how much does Dex matter? Dex is the OP stat in 5e. It always matters. Could do the paladin there. Could also be a rogue. I mean, any of the Dex-based damage classes could really benefit from the +2, +1, right? So ranger, rogue, paladin all benefit massively from the 2-1. Assuming we can figure out a second stat that we care about. What are we doing? So the paladin was a little, I found the paladin slightly frustrating in the last playthrough, in that the resource limitations were really noticeable in the paladin, not from the game, but from like the 5e stuff. What do we want to do with that? Do we need to look at the class variants for now? So we're going to run buff bot cleric if we can, preferably in heavy armor. We could run a two-handed paladin and run strength on, strength charisma. Oh, we can't, we can't do strength. Oh, we can if we do the 17 as strength, right? So I guess I mean, we could do a dex fighter. We could do a con dex fighter too. I don't think I've played a dex fighter yet. What are our fighter variants? What archetypes are they giving us? We just can't do a strength fighter with those stats. How do we get +2? Yeah, we have to do +1. But if we can do +1, on decks, I see. Mountaineer. Advantage on shove attempts while using a shield. That, by the way, shove attempt using a shield is a the strength is a tech roll, right? So there was a class that gave us advantages on those. What was that class? Do you guys remember? We could get improved criticals on champions. Fucking troll Spellblade. I don't want to run Spellblade. I think this was part of the problem, right? Where the subclasses for the fighter weren't very interesting. Yeah, I know I know this is supposed to be an Eldritch Knight, but I don't remember it being good. What's the best way to take advantage of criticals? It's many dice rolls, right? So like a dual wield fighter with improved critical has some utility, like some synergy rather. Yeah, well, you're both right. One of you said lots of attacks, and one of you says lucky. I think it's just multiple dice rolls, right? You're trying to get as many dice rolls as you can, if crits matter. Gotta go half. Elven accuracy is not in this, no. So who was getting the... advantage? It wasn't dex checks advantage, it was... Yeah, what was the fucking one that got the advantage on skill on those rolls? We were looking at it earlier.
Champion into barbarian to stack crit bonuses?
No barbs in this one, sorry mate. It was the ranger. Was a ranger variant? With strength. We'd want strength con. Which has to be, can't be half elf because we can't get 2 con. Or 2, we can't do strength con. Have to be a dex ranger then. Dex con. So it's maybe like dwarf ranger. Dex con there. Snow dwarf ranger. We did this into... It was the ranger archetype here. And it was Shadow Tamer. This isn't shoving though. I thought one of them had a shove advantage. It's just, oh, it was just tunnel wisdom we were thinking of. Ranger wants wisdom? Yes and no. We could do that. Gets us 18 dex, 18 con, ranger. Not using medium armor there, it's just total fucking waste. Oh, his favorite enemy. That's right. I really would love to do a strength-based ranger, but these stats are not a strength-based block, right? Because we can't +1 strength and +2 con. And I don't think there's other stats that we care about, like getting above 18 there. Ah. You hate favorite enemy? Yeah, I think that's what it's supposed to denote, right? Favorite enemy is the guys I really know a lot about, kind of hate them. Hunter's Mark doesn't require a save, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, that's what you're saying. You're saying that they don't require a save. Exactly, right. That's why I don't care about maxing wisdom on them, because their wisdom is useful, but it's not like essential to them, right? It's like skill checks on like blah blah blah, right? It's not their hit rolls, it's not their DC rolls, it's not their whatever. Okay. So what are we on then? Dex-based Pally? Feels like such a scam. What are the Paladin subclasses? What do we get for Paladin? Sacred Weapon. Channel Divinity to bless one weapon for 1 minute. Add your Charisma modifier to hit with that weapon. Magical Weapons attack on that. Bunch of spells in there that could be good. Build something outside the box. Well, with stat rolls, so I guess I should highlight which ones we're working with right now. We're working with this stat block, right? So this stat block, I think actually the last one we might be to build something outside the box. I think this one is not so much outside the box, right? Because this is like essentially point by plus. I mean, we could also build something that's gonna max at 20. Yeah, this is a 2 main stat kind of block, right? I agree with that 100%. But who's 2 main stats out of this? Fighter. It depends if you consider con a main stat or not. Con is something that's... I think con only really becomes a main stat when you're a caster, honestly. Because I think it's just about maintaining concentration. It's like a caster tank, like a battle mage or something, right? Which again, I think is a cleric. I think the best battle mage is a cleric with the limited skills, the limited spell, limited subclasses that we have available in this one, right? I don't think there is great weapon mastery, maybe. How do we take advantage of that here? It would be nice to run a two-hand. Yes, exactly, Zach. We rolled 4. If you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, we decided that rather than doing point buy, we were going to do dice roll. So we did dice roll, and these are the stat blocks we have, and we're trying to figure out 4 characters to build from these stats. Yep. And you can see them on the left, stat blocks. I put them up on screen. Make someone else into a strength shover. What are the subclasses? Yeah, well, the strength shover actually sounded kind of fun, but I think it's... But again, I don't think it's this block. I think the next block would be a strength... would be a shoving class, right? Like something... Because the issue is right now we have 2 main stats here, and we can't... In our main stats... The 2 main stats can't be strength and con. We don't have a +2 or a plus... We have no +2 strength available to us from these races, and we have no +2 con +1 strength available to us from these races. Yeah, it could be I mean, the easy decision out of this is Paladin as half-elf Paladin, right? Strength-based half-elf Paladin. Could look into a wizard. What does a wizard look like for that? I see, but I don't know. Like, again, con is nice, but it's not essential. I mean, it depends what you're doing for that. I mean... So the fun races for +2, +1 are actually... See, the other thing I guess another way to look at this then is, okay, well, what our +2, +1s are, right? So we can get con dex, we can get wisdom con, we can get charisma strength, and we can get, there's a dex con here, and a dex charisma. So the racial features that are really fun from my perspective starting here are the Sylvan movement, really nice. The Marsh Halfling Lucky, I really like Lucky. And then the Snow Dwarf ones, the +2 con saving throw is really interesting to me. For the Snow Dwarf. So I would like to build, I had this problem last time, right? I want to build a Snow Dwarf. I wouldn't mind building a Marsh Halfling. And I wouldn't mind building a Sylvan elf. Yep, half elf would be great with this. It still leaves us what one floating point on the 11, but it uses a big block of our stats. Yep, that's absolutely true. Although we're gonna end up with just like an OP paladin doing that. Snow Dwarf, right? Like I want to play the Snow Dwarf too. It looks really cool. So what do we do with the Snow Dwarf? What is the caster rogue variant? Because if we're gonna go Snow Dwarf, we want to make Con one of our primary stats. The only way to make Con a primary stat is if you're thinking you're gonna be casting, I mean, like just taking damage is sure, but like you try to damage avoid in games like this, right? Especially with healing being bad. So what you actually get out of Con is you get Con saving throws, and Con saving throws are concentration, right? So that's the big plus out of that. And Snow Dwarf has that nice synergy, right? Like +2 to Con saving throws as well as having additional Con stats. So we could get a pretty sick. Caster that can maintain concentration. The question is, what are we doing with that? Like, what class in this maintains concentration for any utility, right? Like, what do we actually like? What's impactful out of maintaining concentration? And I don't think there's a lot super early. I think the most impactful concentration spell in the first 5 levels is probably Haste and Spiritual Guardians. Right, exactly, Cleric. But our last character is a Cleric, right? So the only character we built and we're happy with was the buff Cleric. Right, again, Bless. Well, Bless can come off a Paladin too, but yes. Bless is okay, but Bless is impactful, but it's not game-changingly impactful, right? Like it's not a build around. Bless is nice. It's nice to run a Bless. Sword fighter class. I don't think they get spells fast enough to matter. We're back to Paladin, maybe. Honestly, like it would be a disgustingly good Cleric. Like we'd run Bless until Spiritual Guardians, and then run Spiritual Guardians. And the secondary stats would be nice too. We'd have so what would this be? If we don't need fucking Dex on a Paladin or a Cleric here. Chat, I would love input here because I'm going to get lost in trying to, or rather, I will spend more time than you guys probably want to spend thinking it through. The half-elf Paladin. Can the other classes make anything out of Snow Dwarf, for example? Were there no ink classes either? Like my only ink class was like a half-elf, right? Dex should be Ranger for Hunter Mark. That doesn't make sense to me. Hunter's Mark doesn't care about Dex. Oh, I see. You mean Con. The concentration. Yeah, I guess this could be the melee. That's right. This could be the melee, Dex-based melee Ranger. What does that look like if we do that? Oops, I don't want higher levels here. I want Ranger archetypes. So I actually think Hunter. We did Hunter last time. Marksman requires us be ranged. Hunter wasn't very. Hunter was very good, but I think it benefits more from being ranged as opposed to melee. So you're looking at Shadow Tamer. And this is going to be fucking overkill. This is going to be 100% accuracy character if we go Shadow Tamer 18/18 primary stat with Dark Slayer. But it sucks that we're taking that high con saves and we're just running Hunter's Mark. I guess it makes them resource efficient. I mean, are there other Ranger fucking spells we care about? Snow Dwarf should use the other one. Why would the last set of stats benefit from Snow Dwarf? Snow Dwarf is +2 con, +1 dex. Why does the last benefit do that? Like, we don't want 18/16 for... We don't want our attack stat being 16. We want our attack stat being 18. Pass Without Trace. I haven't really used that much. It also was strong in this game. The sneak attack rounds anyways. But Pass Without a Trace, you don't care about Pass Without a Trace with sneak attack, right? Because by the time you do your sneak round and then you start taking damage, so you don't give a shit. Like, if Pass Without a Trace fails once you're there. Is Pass Without a Trace even a con save? I don't even know if it's a concentration. I don't remember. Uh, 16 con is fine with +2 to con saves. Sure, but my point is you said use the last stat block for the ranger, right? Well, the last stat block means we're either +2ing 15 for con, which is 17, which isn't a con what we want at all. We're +1ing a 16 for 17 instead of 18. I think it's worse. I think the Paladin is just way better than this. I think the problem with this is this stat block. Chat, tell me if you guys see any alternatives here. But I think the best stats that I can get from this are the best class I can get from this are melee, dex, ranger, charisma, charisma, strength, paladin, or con, wisdom, cleric are the three that I see that come out of this, right? Out of the stat block that really take advantage of it. And of the three of those, the one who cares about concentration the most by a long shot is the cleric. I mean, I guess we can bless off the paladin. The problem with the paladin is it's always so fucking tempting to actually smite things, because smite is such a sick damage, ability to remove things off the board. It's like I worry about the spell slots on the paladin doing that. And it feels like of those three, the ranger cares the least, or rather, it's the least efficient use of extra concentration and concentration saves off the ranger. Now, if we want to force Snow Dwarf, the Paladin's off the table because it's the Paladin has to be half elf. So if we're just looking between Cleric and Ranger, which even then is a problem, right? Because the Cleric doesn't want to be Snow Dwarf; it wants to be the other dwarf, the HP dwarf. It wants to be Hill Dwarf. So if we want to force Snow Dwarf, then it pretty much defaults to the Ranger, right? Is that logical? Do we come down together on that? So it either goes half elf, paladin, 18/18, strength, charisma, with actually, and interestingly with that, if we do that, the paladin with 18/18 charisma and strength runs into 13 con, which is kind of bad for a paladin. They kind of want 3 primary stats, right? So if we're looking at a 2-stat build from this, it's definitely either wisdom con for the cleric, which ends up as Hill Dwarf, or it's dex con or something doing a dex build. I don't think it's 18/18/14. How are you boosting that 13? You only get, oh, because it's like a half elf. You're right. It would be 18. It would be 18/18/14, but 14 is still kind of bad charisma or bad con for not bad. It's pretty easy to get 16 con on a paladin, but you're right. It would be 18/18/14. Oh, you'd do the other way. You'd go 18/16. Okay, too. That's what we're looking at, Disheveled Human, right now. Is exactly not a marks. We weren't looking at a marksman because if we're ranged, the problem with putting a shit ton of con on a ranged character is your ranged character almost by definition takes less damage than your melee characters or gets attacked less. If you're getting attacked less, you're getting less advantage out of those con saves. I don't mind trying this as that melee ranger. You guys want to try a melee ranger? Dex-based melee ranger with high con. I mean, what fucking spells does a ranger do? Does it do any spells that we give a shit about? Like, what spells? I love the idea of running Snow Dwarf. It seems like super cool. I mean, no, but what? Do it. All right, so this one here would be Ranger, Snow Dwarf. I think I gotta drag that out a little bit. That in. Ranger spells worth a damn. Hunter's Mark, Healing Spirit, Passive Trace, Silence, Spike Growth, Plant Growth, Protection Energy, Guardian Agent. Yeah, I mean, we'll be running Hunter's Mark 99.9% of the time in fights, right? It's just kind of, I mean, and it is a good spell to maintain concentration on. It's very, very spell slot efficient, since you can carry it you can carry it over from one fight to another. I mean, we could try that. We're not gonna get. There's no late game. We won't get into like level 7. So. All right. So that's 2 of our 4. I think I want to put these. I'm gonna put these as alternates. I think the other thing we could do with this, the other one I'm kind of interested in, is Cleric running disgusting spiritual weapons. In which case, this is Hill Dwarf, right? All right. What next? So what stat block do we want to tackle next? I like the Cleric too, but we just played a Snow Dwarf Cleric, right? Or not a Snow Dwarf. It wouldn't be Snow Dwarf because this Dex doesn't help us at all with that Cleric. Is there another way we could build that? All right. Also, right now we are Cleric Ranger, which is fine. Double Wisdom class is kind of. Can't remember with the spellcasting numbers on those. In the sense that I don't remember if number of spells is determined by wisdom for either of those classes. It might be I don't like the number of spells you gain and when you gain them and how they're replaced changes so much based on the caster that I always have to look up the specific rules for that. Okay, but let's take a look at the third block of stats. So we've got this one here. This one's a pretty generic block. What do we do with this? Where do we get int? Like no int, right? High elf gives us int. Half elf gives us int. That's it. So if we want to run a wizard, we should have one class, preferably. I mean, this could be 16 int, but 13 con, which is pretty abysmal. Human does +1 to all. How many odds do we have here? 1, 2, 3. Not that much better. High elf rogue on this. You can do almost anything with this stat block because it's so underwhelming. Like it doesn't push you towards any particular class. What about a range? What about we do anything with this? So +1 con. I want to play a Marsh Halfling. Marsh Halflings are fun. Dark Vision and Lucky seems like a incredible. Like this is the downside of Halflings, right? Whenever you build a Halfling character, you're like, fuck, no Dark Vision. But a Marsh Halfling is giving us Dark Vision. Doesn't actually show up here for some reason. Here. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. A Baby Panda is a ranged rogue here. So can we pump this here? Yeah, we can end up 16 Dex Con, ranged rogue. Ranged rogue doesn't really need con. Could do a ranged fighter too. I mean, what we just said could be a fighter. I just don't know why we. I guess let's go take a look at the subclasses, right? The fighter subclasses are really unexciting here. I mean, improved critical on a halfling is okay. We could try a ranged champion. Dex fighter. It could be something. I wanted to use shield swipe. I mean, tunnel fighter is a fucking sick bonus too. It's so easy to stand next to a wall and get 2 AC. And I don't care at all about Spellblade. The other thing is we can leave some floating stat points if we on primary stats if we're planning on getting a half feat at 4. What with the rogue archetypes? Shadow dodge is okay. Kind of limited. 5 cells is pretty short. Dark Weaver. Did they add poisons? They did. They added poisons. They added crafting. So we do want to hit those. Spider Climb was amazing. And Predator was really good. So I think we played a Dark Weaver ranged rogue and just did 1,000,000 damage. It was just like non-stop Predator damage plus sneak attack damage for like Phrasm's amounts of fucking damage here. And cunning action is actually okay too. Let you it was okay. You do a Snow Dwarf crossbow ranged rogue. I don't know why I'd want to do Snow Dwarf though. Right? What are we doing? The con saves on a rogue are just not helpful, right? The problem, like the whole the Snow Dwarf ratio that's so cool. The one that I want to play with is the plus Constitution saving throws, right? Snow Dwarf endurance. Rogues don't have magic, so rogues don't have con saving or don't use concentration saving throws. And there are other con saves in the game. But there are a lot that's the most common one by a lot, right? So all you're gonna get out of that then is some spells will be con save throws, right? Shadow Weaver rogue his spells. Does he though? Got like Eldritch spells, right? Like Eldritch Knights kind of spells, which are fucking garbage. I mean, we go look at what those spells are, but I'm pretty sure they're all trash. We can use Divination, Illusion, Necromancy, and Abjuration. So I think Blur's Illusion, Divination. I don't know what Bless. Like if that rogue could cast Bless maybe, but I don't know, man. That seems pretty shit. I think Shield's in there, but Shield's not a concentration check, so we don't care. I remember all the Necromancy spells being bad. Direct damage spells in this game, unless they're AoE, don't tend to be that amazing. That's not terribly exciting. All right, chat. I gotta give some of this coffee back. I'll be back in just a moment. In the meantime, see if you guys can brainstorm anything out of this stat block that we have highlighted. Back in a sec. All right, I'm back. What do you guys got? I like ranged rogues. I'm just worried that we've done a ranged rogue already. Something about the fighters. I think that fighters want strength. I mean, I can get strength out of this, but not as that halfling. I mean, honestly, you think about this, right? What do halflings reroll? They don't reroll all dice, right? One on attacks, ability checks, or saving throw. I mean, rogue gets a lot of benefit out of that. Mostly on the ability checks, right? Yeah, Ram. What can we do with a fighter? So I would love a strength-based character. Especially, I mean, we do a bunch of ranged characters we don't want to be shoving. Shove is a action or a... Shove is a action, but it can be used as part of your multi-attack, right? You can shove, then attack. Any way we could build a tunnel fighter or a champion. This is 5e, yep. Accuracy? What are you talking about? Dex, you mean? Yeah. Dex is all this in. Could we build a fighter with these stats? Barely. End up 16. We'd have to go +2 con, +1 strength. We can't even build with these, right? Again, strength is really hard to build right now because we don't have any strength-based races, and strength is generally just worse than dex on a 1-to-1. What you're really looking for is some, like, we need a half orc or something like that, right? We just don't have it. So it's very difficult to build strength-based characters in here. And the ones you'd normally build strength-based are paladins and fighters, or yeah, paladins and fighters are going to be those strength-based characters you mostly care about. Yep, no half orc, no mountain dwarf. Pretty rough for strength-based characters. And I would love to use this halfling. I wonder if it should be we've done the rogue though. So okay, so what are we getting +1s on here? Stealth saves, stealth ability checks, excuse me, are nice. Saving throws, sure, they're just good all around to have 2 rerolls on 1s. Attack rolls, having multiple attacks would be good. Rogue never gets a multiple attack, so we do lose a little bit of value on this later, since rogue only ever single attacks. So maybe we could try to make this a fighter, like a dex-based like fighter. Dex-based ranged halfling fighter. Don't I get tons of stats from fighters? No. You mean, do you get extra feats? Or, I mean, it's feats or stat gain? Sure. But you can't think of it that way. It's not like fighters get extra stats. Fighters get, as their racials, as their class-based bonuses, they get more options to either take stats or feats compared to other classes. But what they trade off for that is other classes things. So it's not like you have a low statted character, you want to go, oh, it's a fighter because I get more stats. All you've done then is build a mediocre unit, right? Like, yeah, okay, you round up some stats shit, but if you had more stats, how do I say this? It's like, I conceptualize. I guess you could look at it this way, maybe. So, especially a melee fighter, right? Strength-based melee. I don't know how to put that in to make it clearer, right? Your stats aren't free; they come at the cost of something else. So yes, you could say I'm gonna get a bunch of stats as a fighter, and you can do that as that class, and you can do that in a way that other classes can't, because you have more options to take these feat/stat boosts, right? It's a little bit of an opportunity cost thing, but it's not quite like that, right? Because you pay a price playing the fighter, right? You don't get as many, like the fighter. I always think of the fighter in particular in D&D as kind of like this really flexible chassis, right? You don't have a lot of set pieces. Think of like a mech bay, right? Like you got a lot of hard points. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can make it a super mobile ranged unit. You can make it a high armor, like slow, like heavy armor dude in the middle. You can make it a high dex dodgy guy in the middle. You can, you have a lot of flexibility with the fighter chassis because you have so many feats or stat gains, right? But if you're just trying to fill in weak stat rolls with more stat gain, you haven't made a very interesting or very exceptional fighter. You've just taken some of the flexibility or advantage of the fighter to make a mediocre kind of build, I think is what I'm talking about. I think that's how I think that kind of gets the point across. All right, so we wouldn't get to Mountaineer here. I mean, we could. We're not really planning on using shield with a ranged one, I guess. So we could try a champion ranged rogue. A champion ranged fighter here. That could be kind of fun. Try that. I don't know if we've done it range. Now the issue is, so the issue with this is, does improved critical really make up for the lack of sneak attack and lack of this fucking sweet ass archetype on the rogue. This thing is busted. This Dark Weaver archetype. Climbing no longer costs you extra movement, so getting to elevation to shoot from is super easy. Elevation in this game gives you advantage. So getting advantage by climbing makes your sneak attacks trigger.